America is in debt, almost $40 trillion, give or take a country. That is a big number, big enough to make the news. Read it seriously. Here is a less famous fact. China, the country America supposedly owes, is also in debt. So is Japan. So is Germany. France, deeply. Even the tiny little countries with the chocolate and the watches owe money. Add it all up, and the world owes about $300 trillion. Which brings up a question the news never asks. If every single country on Earth is in debt, who is holding the other end? Aliens? The moon? A very patient man named Kevin? Nobody at the desk ever finishes that sentence. So we will. I mean, at least we will try to. But to understand who lends to everyone, you first have to watch a debt get born. So here is one. Meet Dave. Dave just got elected. Dave ran for office on a simple platform, free things. His opponent ran on maths, with charts, landslide. Because here is rule 1 of public finance. Nobody has ever won an election by promising less. People vote for free money every time. Show a voter a spreadsheet and a bar chart, and he sees homework. Show him a check with his name on it, and he sees a Tuesday well spent. So now Dave runs a country. Day 1, he opens the national till and meets the national problem. The country collects 3 coins. The country spends 4. And there are exactly 3 doors out of that room. Door 1, spend less. Dave announces slightly fewer free things, and a crowd forms outside the palace with homemade signs. Door 2, tax more. The crowd doubles and brings drums now. Door 3 has no sign on it. It does not make a sound, no crowd, no drums. Dave likes door 3 already, but behind door 3 sits an honest question. Who lends money to a country that comes up 1 coin short every single year? Funny you should ask. Dave takes a crayon and writes his first one, a piece of paper that says, worth 100, trust me. He calls it a bond because official words help. It is a loan in a little suit. He puts the paper on a table outside the palace and braces for laughter. Instead, a queue forms. Because look at the deal. Lend Dave 100, and every year he hands you 5 back, and when the paper expires, you get your 100 again. And unlike your cousin, a country can always find money. It can tax people. It cannot move away in the night. It will outlive you. As IOUs go, this is the safest paper in town. The man at the front buys it, and before he has even left the queue, he sells it to the man behind him for a small profit. And there it is, the second trick. A bond is a loan you can sell. You are never stuck with Dave. There is always a man behind you. Dave watches the queue from the window and says the most dangerous sentence in economics. Wait, I can just do it again. He can. There is one catch though. Every one of those papers has a date on it. The date arrives. The 100 is due. Dave opens the till to pay it. The till is still 1 coin short. Watch Dave's face. Panic. Then the idea. Dave walks to the table, sells a brand new IOU to the next man in the queue, and uses that money to pay the old man back. When you pay one credit card with another credit card, that is a cry for help. When a treasury does it, there is a ceremony, a seal, and a press release. New debt for the old debt. It even has a date on the calendar. Nobody plans to pay the pile to 0. They don't mention that part. Old paper becomes new paper forever, and the pile does not shrink. It compounds. Years pass. The camera pulls back. The paper goes up past the clouds, past the moon, and keeps going. Dave stands at the bottom with a stepladder, just checking. And down at the hospital, every newborn in the country now arrives holding a tiny invoice, about 100,000 each. Welcome aboard, kid. Still, as long as new lenders keep queuing, none of this is technically a problem. Except renting money is not free. The rent is called interest. And while everyone was watching the queue, the rent started climbing the budget. Now, put the crayons down for a second because this staircase is real. 6 years ago, the biggest economy on Earth paid about $345 billion a year in interest. Not paying anything back, just interest, the fee for holding the pile. This year, that number went past $1 trillion. Say it slowly, $1 trillion a year for standing still. Here is what that looks like at the dinner table. The budget pie comes out, and the first slice, before schools, before roads, goes to the paper. The army is still in the queue, holding a tray, because, yes, the interest bill is now bigger than the defense budget, the most expensive military in human history, outspent by a stack of IOUs. And the odometer keeps rolling. Sometime around this autumn, it clicks past 40 trillion officially. Dave is there with a small party popper. He thinks that is the national income. The maths is simple. The pile grows by itself whenever the interest rate is bigger than the economy's growth rate. And lately, it is. Which is the point where even Dave asks the adult question, how does this actually end? There are exactly 5 ways out of this. And every government on Earth has the same options. Number 1, balance the budget. Collect more than you spend, run a surplus, pay the pile down. This genuinely works. It has even been done, briefly, around the turn of the century. Then it stopped because the maths of getting elected runs the other way. A surplus takes about a decade of pain to work, and a term lasts 4 years, so the politician who starts it eats every cut, and the one who cuts the ribbon gets the credit. Nobody signs up to be the first half of somebody else's success story. Crossed out. Number 2, print it. The kitchen catches fire. We all ate this dish a few years ago, and the rent still sits where it landed. Printing pays the debt by quietly shrinking everyone's savings at the same time. It is a tax with better marketing. Crossed out. Number 3, just do not pay. The table flips, and then nobody ever lends to that country again, which matters because, as we learned, the whole machine runs on the next man in the queue. Greece tried losing the queue for a while. Wages fell by a third, a quarter of the economy, gone, crossed out, twice. Number 4, reset the entire money system and start over. Let us be honest with each other. If your country is ever on this option, the video you need is not this one. It lives in a jar under the counter, and we do not make eye contact with it. Which leaves number 5. This one makes more sense than the others. Outgrow it. Make the economy grow faster than the pile grows, so the number stays enormous but slowly stops mattering. Ask the kitchen when it is ready, and the kitchen says, still cooking. That is not a joke, by the way. That is the actual official plan of basically every country. But hold on, we have been staring at the pile so long, we skipped the best question in the room. All those papers Dave printed, somebody was buying them. Mountains have owners. Who owns this one? The palace keeps a ledger with every lender's name in it. Let's open it. Biggest myth first. Page 1. China, the lender from the news. The reason your uncle lowers his voice at dinner. China holds about 2% of it. 2%. The scariest creditor in television history could sell everything tomorrow, and the mountain would barely feel it. Japan lends a little more, politely, and never mentions it. So who is actually in the book? Grandma's pension fund. A quarter of everything it owns is parked in Dave's paper, because paper that pays quietly for 30 years is exactly what a pension is made of. The insurance office. Most of their vault is Dave's paper too. Dave's own bank. Hold that thought. We will need it in 1 minute. And then, the strangest entry in the ledger, the state's own retirement drawer. 1 in 5 of Dave's IOUs is held by another branch of Dave. The country borrows from its own pension drawer. And shoved in the back corner, a gray machine that buys the IOUs with money it conjures out of nothing. No plaque on the door. Every country keeps one. Nobody chats with it in the hallway. Add up the whole book, and roughly 70 of every 100 papers never left the country at all. The mountain is mostly owed inward, which brings us back to the thought you were holding. Dave's own bank is in the book. Where exactly did the bank get the money it lent to Dave? Follow this coin. Citizen Dave, regular guy, gets paid on Friday. He keeps a little aside, like a responsible adult, and puts it in the bank. The bank gets the money, prints him a balance, and puts up a poster of his savings tucked in for a nap. Then the teller picks up his coin, out the back door he goes, and buys a government IOU with it. A savings account is not a room with your money in it. It is a receipt. The money itself is out working, and a lot of it is working for the government, which makes Citizen Dave a national creditor. You would think there would be a ceremony. There is. A clerk hands him a certificate. Congratulations, the country owes you. Then the same clerk, same desk, same smile, hands him a second paper, the tax bill, which pays, among other things, the interest on the first paper. He is the lender and the payer, both ends of the same IOU, one baffled guy. And before anyone gets bold and demands the whole pile be paid off tomorrow, walk down to the vault. There is an old guard asleep in front of it. The sign says, "Do not wake until 2060. Inside is his pension. It is made of the paper. Kill the debt, and you kill the paper. Kill the paper, and Grandpa's calm, boring retirement becomes a thrilling adventure." Pension funds do not hold the safe paper for fun. They hold it because someone's old age is parked in it. That is the circle. The country owes a mountain, and the mountain turns out to be built from its own citizens' savings, stacked where they cannot see them. So everything is fine then. We owe it to ourselves. Well, that depends entirely on which ourselves you ask. There is a poster for this. Official font, calm blue, do not worry, we owe it to ourselves. Little smiley face in the corner. The poster is true, it is just not finishing the sentence. Because the taxes that pay the interest come from everyone, every payslip, every receipt, but the paper that collects the interest does not spread out like that. Paper lives where spare money lives. The more you have resting, the more of the mountain you hold. So $1 trillion a year in interest flows in from every taxpayer, through the tax office, and straight up to whoever holds the most paper. For Citizen Dave, the two ends roughly cancel. He pays a little in, his pension quietly collects a little back. For the penthouse mailbox, nothing cancels. It just accumulates. No law is bent here. This is just how the pipework drains. And here is the bigger picture, the one both the poster and the news keep missing. A national debt is not a bill written to a stranger. It is where the country's savings live. Every IOU has two ends. One end is a government that spent money it did not have. The other end is someone's pension, someone's insurance policy, someone's quiet Friday habit of putting a little aside. Most of the time, both ends live in the same house, just not in the same rooms. So the next time the number flashes on the news, remember that you are looking at two sides of the same coin. The terrifying trillions on the screen and the calm little balance in your savings app. Same coin, two sides. The question was never how big the number is. Countries do not pay mountains off. They carry them. The question is who the mountain flows through on the way around. Anyway, Dave is fine. He checked the odometer this morning, and the queue outside the palace is longer than ever. Everyone in it is holding a piggy bank. Subscribe if you feel like it. Think of it as lending us a click. We will pay it back next video. And then, obviously, roll it over.